Hello and welcome to another episode of Falling Back in Love with Minecraft. Honestly, I think my only plan for this episode is I'm gonna go and move a bunch of stuff from my other house to this place, and maybe try to build like a what's it called? Um, a fence perimeter for this village so that villagers can't leave. You know, we'll see how that goes. Um, So yeah, I hope you enjoy the episode. All right, buckle up and listen good because we're going to be talking about D&D. Specifically, we're going to be talking about the campaign that I'm currently a player in. So, my character is named Redemption, okay? I named him Redemption because he had a troubled past and he wanted to give himself a new identity, a new name, so he named himself Redemption, okay? None of the people in my party actually know his story. Only the DM does, because no one's ever asked, and no one's cared to ask, and he hasn't cared to share. So yeah, I'll tell you guys. And if anyone from my campaign's watching this, hi. I don't know why you're watching this. Here's the backstory that you don't know. So his name is Medgar Chask. Chask? I don't know. I should know. I created it. Medgar Chask. And he was orphaned. He's a tiefling. And so he was orphaned to the human world, and he was raised by two very loving and caring parents who are both human. Well, growing up, he helped with the shop, and he would learn from his parents the tools of the trade, how to do math and barter and be charismatic and stuff like that, and really learn how to deal with people. But he also didn't really see a whole lot of opportunity for himself because he was always pushed aside and looked at differently because he was a tiefling. So he found himself getting caught up in like gang activity, and he would do several things that were not great, such as stealing and beating people up. And yeah, he ended up wanting to leave that life, and the guy that was in charge of the gangs in that area did not like that he wanted to leave, so he decided to teach him a lesson and burnt down his parents' shop, and they both perished in the fire. But Redemption ran back into the fire trying to save them. He did bring them out, and he also ran in and grabbed a few things that his parents had. His dad's glass blowing tools, and I think something from his mom. But he then ran away because he knew that he wasn't safe there. And he started to travel around, making money by blowing glass and stuff like that. And he became a sorcerer, okay? He had the charisma, and he had the innate physical ability due to some dragon heritage that he had. So, man ends up joining a party, and they travel around for a while. We started the campaign off as being a party that had been established for about a year or so we knew each other. And we called ourselves the Sandwich Seekers, and that stuck. 100%. It stuck. We are the Sandwich Seekers, and we will always be the Sandwich Seekers. I took that a little bit and ran with it. And now Redemption has a obsession with food and creating and tasting and trying new types of food and learning new recipes and stuff like that. When we level up next, it's going to be level 8, so we can choose between increasing our stats or choosing a feat, and I'm going to choose the chef feat. So that he can make food and heal people with it, but really it's just because he wants to make food. Uh, but now there's a bonus, so it's gonna be great. Yeah, no. So they wandered around, and they found this village where there was a old hag in the woods, causing trouble. And they asked them to deal with it, and they said, yepperoonies. So they decided to go into the forest, and Redemption was just like, this sounds like a great idea. And he walked up to the old hag's hut by himself and just went in. Because people were just like, oh, what are we going to do? I don't know. Maybe this is it. And I was like, I just go in. So Redemption had to do the boss fight by himself. Before, like, at least until his teammates showed up. And I actually did pretty well. I did really freaking well. Had I rolled a little differently and gotten one more spell off, I actually would have taken down the boss by myself. But I ended up getting captured, and everyone else came in, finished off the boss, and they're just like, are you okay? I was like, yeah, I guess. But we got a bag of holding and a weird chunk of ice that never melts, but can be used as a magic focus. And if you use it as a magic focus, your spells do an additional, like, 1d6 or 1d8 frost damage. I don't know. It really is what it is. It's a central plot to the story, because we also get attacked for this item by bandits. Oh my gosh, it's been so long since we've had that part. This campaign has been going on for like 3 or 4 years now, guys, okay? It's been a while, all right? The part I'm telling you is from 3 to 4 years ago, okay? This is the very beginning. So we go south or west or east. We go a direction, really. We follow the river. And we find a major city. And when we get there, we're just like, wow, this is amazing. And then we get to chill there for about a day before it gets ransacked by pirates. And we're just like, that's no bueno, my dude. And, and we're just like, well, maybe we can loot the pirate ship and sink it. So we took a boat to the back of the pirate ship without getting caught. And I blew a hole in the back, like a massive hole. We took some treasure and sunk the ship. And the pirates got captured. And it was amazing. Yeah. So then from there, we travel further down. We find some bandits. We chuck them in the river. We killed most of them and chucked one into the river. And I think that guy's going to come back someday. I don't know. But I wish we had killed him. You never leave a survivor. Never. That's just asking for, like, a vengeance arc, really. But, yeah, we saved a village from those mercenaries, and there's like, oh, we're so grateful. And we're just like, awesome, cool. Give us some supplies. And there's like, okay. And then we kept going down the river. And we found this kingdom whose ruler is a dragon. And we were just like, that's pretty dope, not gonna lie. And we talked with him for a little bit, and he was terrifying. And we all thought that we were going to die at his hands at one point. But we didn't. He never attacked. He was just angry and on the verge of attacking. And we got some good food there. And then we decided that we needed to deal with the pirate situation, because apparently the pirates have been attacking. So we took it upon ourselves to go to the pirate island where all the pirates live. And so we took a boat. We took it out to the pirate island. We're just like, Yoski broski artichokes, how's it hanging? And there's like, arg. I don't know. And and we talked with the pirates, and apparently things have been going on where, like, they would be sunk if they went to particular air, like a particular part of the sea, and no one knew what was happening. So we're just like, okay, we'll go deal with that. And then you can start going to that area, and then you don't have to ransack these towns anymore. And there's like, that sounds great. Go deal with our problems. And we're just like, great. And they gave us a crew to sail with, and we went with them over to the area where people were going missing. Well, we ended up getting sucked into a vortex, and at this point, I started praying. My character was never religious, so I was like, hey, And he got out there. You want to help me? And my DM was like, you really want to phrase it like that? I was like, yeah, I do. And he was like, okay. And he talked to me afterwards because that's like where the session ended. He's like, hey, so we could do it one of two ways. I could give you a list of gods that would answer the call, and you can pick between them which one you would think is best, or you can roll a die. And that will tell you which one answered. And I was like, well, obviously we have to roll a die. So I rolled the die, and I got the god of evil chaos, which was the worst option on the entire list. So I was like, cool, great, this sounds fantastic. Glad to know that he's willing to help. So we get sucked into this whirlpool that appears in the ocean, and one of our people like fell in, so I dove in after them, and like I cast like a spell on myself to help me breathe water and like try and save them, but we just got sucked down and we fell into this bubble where it was just this bubble at the bottom of the ocean where there was shipwrecks and stuff like that, and apparently magic items, which coincidentally we found a cape of billowing, and we immediately put that on the dog of the group. His name is Duke, and now he forever has a billowing cape, no matter how windy or how not windy it is. It's fantastic, and he looks majestic. So we have to figure out our way out of the bubble, and I forgot how we did it. Honestly, I don't know what we had to do. I think we had to overwhelm a certain magic capacity or whatever the heck it was, or fight something. I don't know, and I'm not going to know because I'm not a note taker. I'm the kind of person that just tries to remember everything. Well, we end up getting back onto the boat, and the bubble pops. We arise to the surface, and we head back home after collecting a few magic items from the bottom of there and solving the issue. That bubble was the issue. And so we head back. Someone gave me mystery seeds, and we sold a few items. I like to go into magic shops and buy random magic items, and my DM has a blast with it because he just comes up with random things. Like I bought a magic box, and it was like 100 gold pieces or something like that, and he was like, okay, cool, you get this magic box. No one knows how to use it. I was like, oh, that's fantastic. I love that. And we spent a solid half a session trying to figure this thing out. And apparently you had to swing it like a sword, and it turned into a sword. And then when you sheathed it, like you just pretend to sheath it, it turned into a tattoo on your arm. And I was not a sword user, so I gave it to one of my party members, and he doesn't use magic, but this is like the closest to a magic item that he'll like appreciate. He's like, all right, it's a sword that I can always have and get past security. I'm fine with that. He's like, okay, we'll start to deal with some magic things. I was like, cool, Koroth, way to go. But if we ever cast magic spells on him, he will be pissed at us. So we continue on our journey. And we head back to try and figure out what's going on with disappearances. We've been having disappearances all around the world. In one section of the planet, there was actually a full city that appeared just out of nowhere, and now they're a part of our ecosystem and our economy. But also, one of our party members disappeared out of character. She just couldn't attend anymore. And so we were just like, okay, this is how we're going to deal with it. And then she attended one time, and the same thing happened where she just appeared, just like, whoa. And we're just like, what the heck? And she's like, hi. And we're just like, what's going on? And we filled her in, and it was great. And then she disappeared again. And I was like, what's happening? So we head back, and we go to this beach, and we fight this land shark, and we find this nerd. Okay, this nerd has this whole machine set up. He's like, oh yeah, this is how I sense the magical fluctuations. This is how we're gonna figure out where those anomalies are coming from and what's causing these disappearances. We're just like, oh wow, that's actually really cool. How does it work? And he's like, well, I turn it on and then it points me in a direction and then we follow. And I was like, okay, cool. So we did that and it led us to a mountain. And it's just like, it's in the mountain. That's where the disturbance is happening. So we all went in, including this guy. Okay. We fought our way through the mountain. By the way, at this point, our DM, created a whole map in, in Minecraft. And so we played delving into the mountain through Minecraft representation, and that was actually really fun. But it was very tedious for our DM, so he hasn't done it again. So we make it all the way down, and we find this wizard dude. But he had cast like this image that was like a dragon, and it looked like a nerd dragon. We're just like, oh wow, that's probably the main bad guy, because we hadn't seen the actual wizard dude before. And we were just like, okay, let's try to reason with it. And it started to attack us. And we're just like, that's a bad thing. And we tried attacking it. It wasn't working. And then we realized, oh, wow, this is a magical mirage. Not massage. Mirage. I almost said massage. It was a magical mirage that could actually attack you. And so we counterspelled it, and it disappeared after it took out like half our health, which was fantastic. And then we had to deal with this guy who triggered his machine, and he's like, he had told us that he had dealt with us before and that we had fought him several times previously, but we're far more sassier this time. So apparently he had been fighting us through like several different timelines, because we had never met this man in our life. And so the machine starts to like ramp up and like start to like get ready to explode. And the dude had pressed a button and he disappeared. One of my teammates pressed a button and they disappeared. So I ran over to the machine. I was like, all right, guys, this is what we're doing. And I mashed the buttons and then I disappeared. And then so did my two other teammates. And the guy that led us there, he just kind of exploded, kind of. He was in the explosion. And yeah. So we didn't know what had happened to him, but we got teleported to this like weird Mad Max desert planet thing. And I started I started planting those seeds that I was given previously. I planted at least one seed in every single dimension that we went to. So Mad Max world, we get these like weird sandworm thingamabobbers. They help us travel, but we took them from people that were of the land because they were trying to attack us and enslave us. And we traveled to like a city that was nearby, and they had a magical artifact in this pyramid surrounded by walls that no one was allowed to enter except for the high priest. And we were just like, that's suspicious. So we broke in and went into the pyramid, and apparently the artifact was a piece of the machine that blew up. And when we grabbed it, a weird magical energy started to appear around us, and we teleported to a new dimension. Lovely. So that new dimension that we teleported to, that was the Muppets dimension. And I immediately wanted to know if we could cast Fireball on the Muppets, which my DM said that would be a bad idea. And I took that as a fair warning. But we had to break into Nottingham Castle with Kermit the Frog as Robin Hood and Fozzie Bear as Little John. And it was basically Muppets Robin Hood. That's what we fell into. And we did the whole trying to get in thing. I shoved a Muppet into one of my bags of holding, and they don't count as a person. They count as an item, but a sentient item. And that was a good lesson because they grabbed some of my stuff and started running away. And I summoned them back, and I was like, stop that. And then I shoved the stuff back into my bag, and it was the guy that goes, you know, like one of the signs, the Beaker. It was Beaker. I shoved Beaker into my bag of holding. But then there was also other items there that were from other realities. So I grabbed Wilson, the volleyball from Lost, and I think there was something else. I was tempted to get some of the goblets because I knew those were goblets from Indiana Jones, where it was like the Holy Grail. You know, I was like, man, this is really tempting to just hand to people. And but I didn't want to touch it. So I was like, all right, maybe I shouldn't. And we ended up teleporting from there to a noir world where I got transformed into their version of a demon race because they didn't have tieflings that were like me. They had tieflings that were very different. So I got teleported there with a new body and the help of my god who, you know, helped me transition into this whole world thing. It was weird. I had to like jump into my bag of holding to get through the magical barrier stopping me, and then my god shoved me out. And then when I was shoved out, I was given a new body to actually just be in this world with a whole new moveset and everything. It was really weird. And we were supposed to solve it like a noir, and none of us knew how to solve things like a noir, so that went very poorly. But we did end up going to the library, and I got the premium library card, and I went to the like exclusive books, and I stole a few, including a demonic cookbook, and I do plan on making a few recipes from that. It's gonna be hectic and amazing, and I do plan on keeping you guys up to date with how that goes. So yeah, we we kept trying to figure out where the actual items were, but also what was going on in this world because, well, we didn't know everything. People were dying. Tablets of power were being stolen. Blah 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 blah. Useless information to us. We just wanted to get home. But it wasn't useless information. It was going to lead us to where we needed to be. So our DM definitely helped us several times trying to figure it out. There was also a symbol there that if you looked at it, you started to go crazy. And you had to do a con save whenever you looked at it. So I definitely looked at it and chose to fail twice. And the first time I had a vision of myself entering a very lovely home that, you know, seemed inviting, and then all of a sudden it started catching on fire, and then I ran through the house and tried to escape the fire, and then I did, but then the town caught on fire, and then the country caught on fire, and then the world caught on fire, and then the vision was done, and it was very hectic. And the second vision, I had a vision of this city, and the gods were disappearing, and the people were being Thanos, like turning to dust. They did not feel good, Mr. Stark. But yeah, no, it was honestly a very interesting vision. And I did not really know what to do with it, except for the fact that it was like, okay, if things progress, this world's going to get destroyed. So we decided that we would hunt down what was taking these tablets. But we had one in our possession because we ended up stealing it from who turned out to be the bad guy. And he just had it on display in his lobby because he's an idiot. And so we stole it, and then he did a scry, but he had to take down the magical barrier to do the scry, and so we got to reverse scry him and figure out that all the stuff that we needed was up on top of his tower. So we ran up the tower, bumped into some of his goons, fought our way through the goons, and went to the roof, and he was like, okay, let's be reasonable here. I plan on doing the ceremony in like 3 days, okay? I need your item in order to do this, all right? It's a thing of power. It's going to help me actually use these tablets. It's going to be great, okay? I will restore magic to this world because they could only use magic through like having a magic license. It was that restricted, and he was like, I want everyone to be able to use magic freely. So he was going to try and restore magic to everyone. We were just like, that sounds like a great idea. But we didn't care. We just wanted to go home. So we attacked him. And then he started the ritual then and there, and it ended up summoning an eldritch being, which started to destroy the entire world. And we grabbed the item that we needed to teleport, and it started to buzz with magic just before we got crushed by an eldritch being's hand. And we got teleported to this world of very large human-sized animals. And we got to rest and we got to relax. And I got to meet this very lovely old badger who made chess pieces out of wood, and he would whittle them himself. And I asked for a game. Honestly, I wanted to play chess against him, and I lost. But then he gave. I asked him if I could buy like a chessboard from him, and he gave it to me for free. And I was like, "That's amazing." And he's like, "No, honestly, I don't get a lot of people to play with. I appreciated you playing with me. This was a lot of fun." And then we had a banquet. I told him to go because I could play with him there. When we went to the banquet, he was there, and I did play chess with him the entire time while everyone else was actually doing important stuff. I played chess with an old badger. And probably lost again. We never figured that out. But then there was this pterodactyl dude who is in charge of the entire city. He came by, he had the next item we needed, and he said, if you destroy the guy who caused this issue and is trying to destroy our world, I will give this to you and you can go home. And so he flew us to the mountain where the guy is, which is the mountain that had the explosion. And apparently there's two guys there, so we think it's the original bad guy and the guy that brought us there in the first place. And we think it's a circular thing where the guy that brought us there is actually going to turn into the bad guy. It's just really ridiculous. That's where we're at. Well, I hope you enjoyed those D&D stories that I'm definitely going to end up telling you after I record this. Yeah. Um, I'm bad at outros, to be honest. Yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Um, if you're interested in beginner build ideas, like literally beginner build ideas, I have a series coming out where I just go through builds and give you guys ideas for like houses and farms and all the other stuff. So let me know what you guys want. Um, I have 2 episodes out right now. Yeah, 2 episodes out as of the time of this episode being released. So if you're seeing this, there's 2 episodes out there at least. You should go watch them. Yeah. Bye bye.